what's up guys? My name is Ghost and this is another edition of our weekly watch list video where I go over my favorite setups coming into the week using tickers like SPY, QQQ, and then NQ and ES futures, and also SPX. So let's get right into it. First ticker we're going to be looking at is SPY ETF. So coming into this week, we're still looking for that retest of that previous all-time high. I don't blame anyone if they never really took any trades with size last week. We kind of stayed here, consolidated, and just slowly drifted down. Still waiting for that huge move down to get that retest. But in that case, if we don't get it this week, we still got some nice levels now that we can play. And for this week, for the upside, I am going to be looking for a reclaim above 522.05. I feel like that'll give us our best chance to break through all these small resistances, build some base above, and try to get another retest of the all-time highs, or at least up to that 523.8 level. And then for the downside, I don't have much. I'm going to be using ES for that confluence for downside. We did already get to that break below, but we'll see how the week comes in. If we get a sweep up and then come back down below this 520.97, that'll be my best confluence for downside. Also a break below this previous all-time high. So let's get into ES. So now looking at ES, I'm going to be watching for the upside. It is kind of already happening. It's holding this demand that it was formerly made last Friday. So I want to see us get a push up, retest about this 5306 level, and then come back down and break below here for any downside action. For upside, not looking like we're going to probably get the entry for upside on ES for futures. Well, we'll see if they just slow down the move. But a break above this 5299 could give it a good entry to at least go retest this 5306. And where we could probably see some resistance up at that 5311.75. Above here, I am looking to go long, and I am going to be looking to at least target up at this area. This one will be my first target, and then that new previous all-time, probably make a new all-time high if we do break above this 5315 level. So we'll see. Right here, 5299 break above gives it the best chance to at least have some skin in the game for this move back up and testing these resistances. If we do get above them, I'm looking to see them hold and start building a base above here, and where we could potentially make a new all-time high into this week. But we'll have to stay patient. If we do come back and fall back below 5289, I do have one area it's not marked out here. It's about the same as SPX, the 5226 level. I believe that will line up with ES 5282 area. So we could see a slowdown movement there and then come back and retest and then eventually come down. My favorite setup, I'm going to be saying until we get it, will be a pushback all the way down to this previous all-time high, this 5257.25, all the way down to this 5253.5, taking that for a bounce initially, and then seeing if it doesn't hold, break below, that'll definitely give me an entry for the downside. So that's all I'm looking at for ES. Let's get into the next ticker. So now looking at QQQ ETF, mostly what I'm going to be watching is for confluences when to enter upside and downside on ES and SPY. So what I would like to see for the upside is potentially breaking back above this daily 446.77. I do see that we did get that first resistance test of previous all-time high. It happened with ES, it happened with SPY, SPX. We got all that first confluence rejection, and then eventually we got that nice break above. It made new all-time highs. So I'm looking for the same kind of movement on QQQ. If we do come back above this daily area, I am potentially looking for an entry to go long with QQQ possibly making a new all-time highs and holding above. It did make a new all-time high briefly, but I like to see it get a nice move up into that 450 and higher area. So once we get, my trigger point probably will be above this 447 area. That's where I would be looking to see us get this push up and making a new all-time high. We'll see how that week folds. But for the downside, definitely I have to see this 444 lose this support area. Once we can lose this support, I do see us maybe getting a minor bounce here, retesting this 444.48, and then eventually moving down into this new area that we just recently broke. So I'll be watching an area for a big bounce down here. But if we do continue up, here is the area for my trigger to go longs with the confluence of QQQ. And let's go look over at NQ. So here looking at NQ, we got that same first resistance test of previous all-time high. We got that reaction we were looking for. It came down, it held this previous support area. So now, again, just like QQQ, above this 18.6 to 8.5 is an area where I'm looking for us to potentially break above this previous all-time high and make a new one with a sustained push. I'd like to see us make a move all the way up to at least that 18,800 whole psych number. So we'll see how that plays out coming into the week for upside confluence. Trigger point probably above this 18.6 to 8.5. And then for the downside, definitely we have to lose this 18,492 to get this move down into that area right here where I would potentially like to see us hold and get a nice bounce after making that insane push last week. So that is what I'll be looking forward to coming into this week with my best setups. This area right here will be a best A+ setup to bounce. And then above here also to go long. Break below these two areas, 18,492. We can potentially scalp this move down into our bounce areas. So I do hope you guys appreciate those tickers. I did ask on my socials any individual stocks you guys would like me to look at. I am in a play right now for Tesla, so I'll go over in the Tesla contracts. So looking at Tesla, I am in some leap calls for Tesla. I just started a small position, willing to add. They're for June expiry, end of June. So what I'm looking at for Tesla is a push back up into this 226 area. I do believe that area will be the strong resistance rejection. Above there, of course, it'll get a little crazier, but I'm just looking for a sustained move back into this area. I feel like some orders were left up there and we could potentially get a push back there. It's all about timing, of course, so I did give myself some time. We did get to this area that we recently just built support. Finally got a test right back into it from last May. So now that we came back into it, the main thing I want to watch come into this week is breaking above this 178.22, 179 level. That will also give me good confluence to potentially add into my position and look for that sustained move up to that 205. That'll be my first price target since they are leaps, and then that 226 for final price target. But if we do get a push back down, I'm looking for an area to add into this 151, and then also my full position will be around this 137.5. I am giving myself time on these contracts. They are pretty cheap right now. I did get them for an average of $3. So I'll be waiting to get into a full position either if we show some strength and continuation above 178.22 and 179, or if we get this nice buy points down here. So we're right in the middle. So that's why I did start my position just in case we did get a bounce. We did hold up here. We retested. So now the next area we come back into the here, I am looking for us to break above it, getting into these areas to price targets, and ultimately get my first real trim up in this area once I get into full position, and then targeting my full price target area at 228. So that's all I see for Tesla. It's still going to be a watch game. It's not yet giving me enough confluence to go into my full positioning yet, but above 179, that's where I'll look to add. Or if we get down to this 151 to 137, this whole psych area is where I'm looking to get into full position. Cutting below, if we break below 137, potentially we can go all the way back to its lows around 100. So I am not going to hold for that drawdown. So once I'm in full position, my hard stop will be below this 137. Or if I do get a full position add here, my stop will be above or below, breaking below this 177.38. So that's all I see for Tesla. I'll be monitoring it slowly throughout the week. I'm not going to look at it too much. I have my alerts set. But let's get into the next individual stock. I believe it was NVIDIA people wanted me to look at. So let's look at that. So now looking at NVIDIA chart, I haven't really day traded NVIDIA. I took a longer swing out for NVIDIA, made nice money on it. But looking at the chart, it's in an area where it cannot pull back. If it does pull back, it could get a lot more significant. So I do lean towards it pushing for this week. Holding above this 938 was a good number for it to close above coming into this week. So I do want to see us retest this 974. I do think that'll be the best area if we are holding this 938 for a rejection. Just for the first test reaction, coming back down, potentially holding this area before making a new highs into that 1000 area. So that'll be what I'm looking for the upside continuation. Downside, breaking below this 924 area, I do believe it'll get 921.33. I do think this doesn't hold. I think this gives it a small bounce reaction, day trade. But I think we ultimately come all the way down to this area here around this 830. So breaking below 921.33 can start a chain reaction on NVIDIA. I do see it potentially just slow grinding all the way down with small little relief bounces. But it's in the area where I believe it just continues up. It's hard to short it here. If you do want to short it, I would wait for below 921.33 or testing it up at that 974 for a day trade scalp. And then ultimately, if we do come back down here, closing out most of your shorts, because I can see it doing a reaction right here, coming back holding before making new all-time highs. So that's all I see for NVIDIA. If you guys have any other questions, just comment in the video. If you guys want me to look at more tickers throughout the week, I'll start doing a weekly midweek watch list for how to finish the week, whatever setups I'm looking at, after we do get our setups for this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this weekly watch list video with some individual stocks. We do have Friday off. It's going to be a short week, I believe. Friday is Good Friday, so let's try to make the most out of this short week and stay patient for our setups. I appreciate you guys. Peace.